Hello, hello, hello. I will become a wizard on this internet Zoom live things one day. Um, could everyone just let me know if you can hear me? Because I don't think you can. Lordy, lordy. Hang on. Let's see. We had an interesting start, and now that's on. We should be fine. Can anyone let me know if you can hear me? Check that out. That's on. Let's just... Okay, good. So, let's begin. Okay. I hope you've all had a really good week. Since I last saw you, I have been working with a flu of some description, but we're all back now. And thank you all for being here and telling me that you could hear me. What I wanted to share with you tonight was my realization that there was a difference between imagination and fantasy. Excuse me. Cecil, my art teacher, Cecil Collins, always talked about that there was a difference between imagination and fantasy. And basically, imagination is a facility within every one of us that is the contact to our higher soul regions. So within the training that Cecil gave us and my art classes that I wish to share with you, it's a matter of contacting that space and finding the balance, as I've spoke to before, between the invisible aspects of ourselves and how to make a form into the visible regions. So imagination is the place where we go. And fantasy is when we're allowing images that are not true to rule our lives. And so I look at that voice that's going in my head quite often, that we've spoken about before, to see if I'm creating a fantasy and allowing it to rule my life, or am I contacting true imagination, the energy that leads us to the truth of our soul purpose and happiness. And I think there's really bad press in our conditioning, particularly in the West, about the truth of what the creative force is and what is imagination. Imagination does not create a falsehood. You can activate through visualization your imaginations, because most of the time, if you're honest with yourself, look at the pictures you're listening to all the time. Ask yourself, is this fantasy? I'm creating something fearful about the future. Oh my God, what if this happens? And it hasn't even happened. And you will draw that towards you. But if you go into the truth of your imagination, where all love and belief in yourself exists, things can happen. We are the guardians of our life. We are the creators of our life. And it's really important to know the difference between fantasy and intuitive imagination. So I'm going to look at some of your comments now and see if I have any questions. Hi, everyone. Burpee, Mira, Juliet, Richard, Eric. Hi, Stephen. Maria, Lori. Merry Christmas to everyone. New Zealand. That's amazing. Are you just getting up? Or are you on the same time? No. Let me know, Sharon, what time it is there. So, I want to show you the angels that I organize image-wise, which will require me playing the intro to this live, which will have live in a moment on it. But you know, let me go to my site. Bear with me. And we're going to go here. Cecil used to talk about the angels and the fool. Let me show you these first. There we go. So hopefully I'm able to talk over this as we watch the video. Here we go. This one's called Emergence. If you look close, it's in relief. And this is our messenger. It's very big. It's 7 foot across. I don't know who's going to have it one day. And here you can just about see it. It's the angelic masculine. It's a light, actually. Here I am creating messenger in the studio. And this was a window that I made for one of my other houses. And this is called As Above, So Below. But I had to trim it because it's a very 7 foot high panel. And we're back to emergence again. So let me come back. No, that's not what I want. Come on. There we go. We shall be back in a minute. Here we come. Kimberly was saying that she believes that we're born with imagination. Totally. I totally agree. But we don't realize what a bridge it is and the necessity of it to be used for the power of good within ourselves, to master being human. It's misdirected often into fantasy, as I said. It's like you created a hill that coming up to a certain point, you're not connecting to the higher realms with fantasy. So maybe it's an experience, very difficult to articulate, I'm afraid. Okay, Sharon says it's 8:25 a.m. in the morning. Well, good morning. Thank you for getting up and being with us. Merry Christmas from Brazil. Is it Mertes? And Alan, hi Ginger, Merry Christmas. Happy Benevolent New Year. Yes, that's a good thought. And we've got Syl from Holland. And Verpe loves the angel. She thinks it's beautiful. And Juliet, thank you. She thinks my angels are exquisite. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but Cecil talked about the angel in the Fool. Ah, here's my son. Good morning. I made it. It's live and we're working. That's okay. I'll talk. I'd love to chat with you, but I have to go. Bye. Matthew. He's in Sacramento, so he's 2 hours further away, and he forgot the time because we were going to meet up and make sure everything was working. But I managed to work it out and figured out what I was doing wrong. So another learning curve. I shall be able to fly. It's like, oh, I don't even want to talk about it. I made everything so simple this week and thought it's all going to go really easily. Nope, it didn't. But I'm here now. So back to Cecil. Angels and fools. He told me once to go home at Easter because we'd have a break at the city lit. And he said, paint an angel. It was really amazing. I've told you before, he said to me when I was sent to the class by my Sufi teacher, Mrs. Irina Tweedy, not to paint for 2 years, just to come to the classes. So it was all life drawing, but it was more of an experience of discovering my true imagination that actually doesn't come from thought of making anything. It's just an experience, and you're surrendering and letting it speak through you, as opposed to using a mental concept to make something. So you're really sort of in service to the highest. So for him, the angel represented the purity and that space. And then there was the fool, who was clear judgment. That once you know you are that space first coming, and you're in service to create something in form, even if it's just walking down the street and being calm and radiant. You're in service to your angel. And it would create a different world if we all worked from that viewpoint. And that's why we are born with an imagination. As I said, it's like the connection to the highest of what we are. And I was just talking to someone this morning about this, and it was like, we're a treasure to God. We're his children. And do you think he's very happy with how we allow our lives to not be the best of what we can be? There's so much wonder in ourselves that we just cover it up with, I'm no good, I'm a sinner, or crazy desires. We are meant to be happy, and we are meant to be rich in our souls. And it's our choice if we only realized to not let all of that judgment come into us. To be happy and joyful and skip, dance and sing. I remember lots of times with my children as we were growing up. Well, I was growing up in a way, I suppose. They were growing up and I was the mother. We would roller skate around the house. We would dance to Dirty Dancing when it came out, or Jitterbug or something like that. And often I get in a cycle of where, well, the other day I watched Dirty Dancing twice in a day and danced while I was painting. It's not easy, you know, with all the spin that's going around and the worry and stuff. But we are in control. I'm going to look at all your wonderful messages. Kimberly, it's true. The imagination can be used for the good or the bad. And I don't know why people choose to do the bad when there's so much wonder for us to discover in ourselves and to live. We've got to stand. Cecil used to say, the angels speak to us, and they say, awaken or perish. So we got to get on it. There's not much, we really have to do it. Believe in yourself. Really create. But it isn't like you have to make it up. It's in you. And I will constantly remind you of that. See, a lot of people think that if they hear this from a lot of teachers and things about how it's in you, it is you, and somehow they don't believe it. And when you do that, you're creating a door that is locked. So I've been advised so many times, put a flower by your bed, Ginger. Look for the rainbow. Look for, just switch the imagery that you're watching, that you're thinking. Be the controller. Sharon in New Zealand says she spends most of her time being held by her angel. That's lovely. Kimberly was saying, our only daughter Rachel passed to heaven 12 years ago, so we have an angel as beautiful as yours. They're a wonderful symbol, and even better than that, they are here, and there's an angel in every one of us, as well as quite a few all around. I know Mrs. Tweedy used to say that they're a bit out of work because we've stopped believing contacting them. And they're there to help us touch that space in us, to awaken it, to remind us the beauty that we are. Hi, Burpee. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you as well. And we've got Juliet. She's asking, so would fantasy be a bit like worrying too much and getting one's brain in overdrive? Yes. You know, when everything is going round in your mind when you're trying to sleep? Yes, this is true. That's a bit of fantasy. I don't think you really want that to be happening. And it's your challenge to make a choice, to not let the craziness of that. And I'm guilty of it too, you know. Anyway, I'm here to be with you, Juliet. And overdrive, that spin energy, goodness. As an American, when I came over here, the thing that I had in my conditioning, in my drive, was that the more I could achieve in a day meant I was successful. But goodness, the adrenaline energy and stuff, and I'd get wiped out, run down. The brain was going around, did I do it right? Did I do enough? Maybe I should be doing this. And oh my God, that person's going to think this of me. And goodness, it was crazy. And then I'd stay up really late, working on something, and sometimes too late. And it would just knock me out. And then that around and around and around stuff, the fear stuff, the panic stuff, that gets more of a control of you when you're tired. So now I don't do that. I make sure that I'm in bed 9:30, 10 o'clock. What's interesting is if I'm watching a movie or I'm working on something into the 11:30, I go in, it's your circadian rhythms think you're awake. They think it's morning. And so I can't get to sleep then until 3 because I need a knockout drug. I take some valerian, that's what it was. But then that doesn't work because you have to take it an hour before you really want to go to sleep. So it's quite a science, you know, to balance the adrenaline of the spin. But I think I'm getting better at it. And it's become one thing wonderful about COVID, dare I say, is that I am doing my morning practice every day. My yoga and meditation and my absent healing. So I'm starting my day like that. Otherwise, in the past, it might be, right, 9 o'clock, gotta get up, gotta go. I would have been already up, but I gotta go do this, I gotta go do that. So the achiever, the American achiever in me, is quite a stallion sometimes. But Cecil used to say he's glad he has a vision, because a man without a vision or a woman without a vision has no insight and no direction of where they're going. They're just being blown by the wind of their mind. I'm 71 now, and I'm still learning, I have to say. But I'm glad I can laugh more, and I have a vision. And I also learned to love my limitations, and that we're in a process, we're going down the path. But at least I'm not making it up. I can feel the imagination's making that bridge. I see it. And because of that, I work with my limitations from day to day. I love myself in all of its complexities. And, you know, I was listening to Eckhart Tolle yesterday, a day before, I posted it, and he said he doesn't know very many people that progress spiritually in comfort. That all things are challenges that allow us the space to see the shadow and convert it to the light. And it's our choice. So I know that I was raised with this idea that we all have to be in the house, 3 bedrooms, happy family, Prince Charming, nothing ever went wrong. And then when it started to be challenging, because I changed schools every year, because my stepdad was a medic and he would in the Coast Guard, and he would move from place to place every year, maybe twice a year. So I had to make new friends, and my family was mainly my friends. And I didn't know what people were like beyond a year. So when I came to England with David, that was a challenge, to see the foibles in people. How they were mountains. I didn't know, how do you deal with people with these characters, things that hurt? And now, what is it, 46 years in England? I love the uniqueness of every person. And every person is the only one of their type. It's special to know them, but we can't drown in our personalities of what we think we should be and what we think we are, and all the masks and all the veils. To love the truth of who you are requires you touching that bridge of your imagination that takes you to the highest possibilities and potential of who you are. And then go for it. I want to go for it. Even despite all the challenges in the world at the moment, if we don't hold that space that never changes, then we'll go down with the ship. Enough talk right there. I'm going to look at your messages. Erin said she saw an angel whoosh my mom away the morning she passed. I remember you telling me. Let's go down. Hi, Andy. Blessed to be watching and going through your book that has just arrived. Oh God, that was an experience. I must tell everyone that Andy is a very special person. Excuse me. And he was helping me with a particular challenge the other day. And we chatted and we went through it. He's so patient. So I have this other book called The Art of Relationship. And he's very interested in some of my sculptures. And so I gifted him that. But at the same time, I ordered some extra ones in case anybody else was to get a gift. And it all wound up being on the same order. And it all went to Andy, which is okay. But the delivery guy caused quite a problem. That was a couple of days ago, and Andy found it today on the windowsill somewhere in his neighborhood. And that is another process of faith. And acceptance, if it didn't come around that somebody out there was going to get these books and they were the ones that needed it. But I'm happy that Andy has his. So, let's see. burpee. I still haven't quite figured out how to let the creativity out again. It's like blocked inside me. A running machine helps. Going for long walks. It's like getting the endorphins in there. And you need things, sparkling things that inside you that opens up, touches, because it's magic. It just starts to weave in there, and when you feel like, oh, it's not working, and you feel depressed and stuff, do something that changes that, because depression isn't something that we're born with. And we have control. You have to constantly work at shifting it. Because we build up habits. It could be a habit from your childhood. I had one where my mother was taking us to Connecticut on a train to be with her sister. But she was leaving my stepdad, and I think I was 5 or 6. My younger sister was probably 3. Anyway, he came home early and found guests at what train station we might be on at, stopping for a moment. And he went on and he dragged us away, kidnapped us and put us into the countryside with my grandparents, who were wonderful examples of love, thank goodness. But I forgot that I had a mother. She shows up 2 years later. She had a private investigator and a lawyer, and finally found us. And then we had to go to court. But when she came up, got out of the car, she was a beautiful lady, and I ran up. I'm 6 or 7. My grandmother was panicking, told us to go in the house, but I didn't listen because I was so attracted to this woman. And I said, "Hi, who are you? What is your name?" And she says, "I'm your mother." "Oh, really?" And then when I went off, because the court said we had to go and live with her in Connecticut, I was upset because she took me away from my dad. And that has really been quite an experience to overcome. And it really helped me in so many ways, because it put me on the adventure of discovering who I was and how to, know that there's something beyond all that. And that once I realized that, it was like, that's what I'm going for. That happened, and it enriched my life because it brought me to me. Maybe not at the time. Went subconscious. But in revealing it, reliving it, facing it, and then seeing something so wonderful beyond it, that's what life's about. Richard Buck. Ginger. Why does our sleep change for the worst as we age? Well, I'm sure that there's a lot of medical reasons for that. But I don't think that you need to... I know there's a lot of hormone shifting. But my viewpoint on aging is that we have 2 different life force energies to generalize. One is based on procreation, the sexual energy, and the other one is through your nervous energy. And as you get older, the procreation energy, the blood energy where your identification is, shifts to your nerves, which is where your all the acupuncture points, your lymphatic systems, everything is being controlled by the nervous energy, and it takes a while for you to make that shift. And unfortunately, our society makes us think that our identification it's an actual feeling, identifying with your blood energy. So when that shifts, there's no help out there. Rudolf Steiner talked about it a lot in some of his lectures. There's no help about that passage. And it's really to do with contacting the spirit aspect more, because that's where the energy comes in primarily. When you're in the blood identification phase, it's the nervous energy from above coming in through all the nadis and everything into your body, but your identification was with the blood. And I suppose when you shift into, if you haven't been doing a lot of meditation and getting used to that energy, then it'll be a whole new experience. It can make you feel nervous. And also, sometimes I find that at night is the time that energy is more dominant as well, because your conscious mind is not awake. And sometimes it's wakes you up. It's like, okay, time to tune in. I don't know if that is an answer for you. But, yeah. So we've got Richard saying, sometimes when I can't sleep at night, I look to see if Matthew is doing alive. And sometimes I'm lucky. It gives me something great to listen to. I'll tell him, and I'm sure Verby would tell him, because she's one of his fans, or followers, I should say. I don't really like the word fans. Makes it a bit more superficial. Followers means that we're doing this together, supporting each other, because I need your feedback as much as you think you need me. We're building a special relationship of people together. Alex says, thank you for my book. Thank you. Erica, I find myself feeling like I have to be doing something all the time to feel as though my day was spent well, and then I stew about it before bed and go to sleep angry with myself, then wake up angry with myself. Hang on. Then wake up angry with myself, and it's not a fun cycle. Well, Erica, I think you're giving too much power in your self-assessments. I know that one of running all day, as I said earlier, being the American that achieves the most in a day, and if I didn't finish my list, oh my God, I'm a failure. It's not worth it. And it's not the purpose of life. So I encourage you to find you, your true you. Andy, P.S. I would like to buy one for a gift. Was just thinking to text by, and then you already answered the question. All in perfect divine timing. Good. That's wonderful. I will speak to you tomorrow. So Juliet's sharing, as you know, my daddy passed away 11 years ago yesterday, and the time was 11:40. And my mum called me today. She had lots of dreams about him recently, and last night she woke up at 11:40 exactly. Not like her to do that. We think that's a sign of him watching over us. Do you think so? I'm sure that he's watching over you. we are connected to the invisible realms. Not everyone believes that, but I do. I think there are messages that come to us to remind us, that touches our hearts. And my mother used to say, I was born at, what was it, 11, 17, 9, oh, I've forgotten. Anyway, a 7-Eleven, that was it. I weighed 7-Eleven. And whenever, sometimes she'd look up and she'd see the true time of 7-Eleven, and she'd know that she had to call me. So if she ever saw that, and sometimes it would come in a dream, and she would call me to see if I was okay. We are connected even in the invisible world. Myra was saying her dad, her hero, passed almost 4 years ago, and he brought me to what I am today. I think we all serve each other. I certainly feel as a parent, if I have created an environment that supports the best that everyone can be, with a freedom for them to make their mistakes. That's some of the hardest part. But Lori's saying the hardest task ever is to sit in the stillness. It takes practice. There was a time I could only sit there for 5 minutes. And then I'd get all edgy and stuff, and the shopping list would go through my brain and whatever. Now I love the stillness. But I still, like to watch telly and probably be too busy. But I know in my heart it's the stillness that's me. Where before I didn't know because I was searching for the stillness. But it takes time. David and I went to Ceylon a long time ago when Sarah, third child, was old enough for me to stop breastfeeding. And we went to Anuradhapura, a place that has this huge dagoba with the Buddha's rib cage in it, rib. And I got on a bike and bicycled through the village while David was still asleep, because I wanted to meditate in their temple. And I went in there and it was packed. The Bodhi tree, totally packed out. Beautiful women with colored saris and everything. And I found a corner and I sat down, and I tell you, that was the first time I ever really sat in the stillness. I don't know how long I was there, but when I came around, all these women were sitting facing me, watching, waiting to see, what is she doing? And I didn't speak their language, nor did they speak mine, but they started showing me mudras, because I don't know what I had done. I didn't know a mudra, but it was really special. There are so many different cycles we have in relationship to stillness. And I feel there's so much more for me to discover, that's for sure. Erin's saying that the death of her father and eventually her mother also made her who she is. It's a powerful experience, even amid the painful process. Yep, it is. So we've got Massimillo. Hi. Thank you for answering. I think, do you believe that we are energy to be received from the universe? I think it's a oneness. We cut it off. But it takes an adjustment as you open up. You just don't go flying out there. There's some transcendental meditation. They have some practices that you just open up too fast and you can burn out from that energy because it's very powerful. We're not trained to be one with it. We're not even trained to know that we're something more than our mobile phones. Yeah. Verb B. I may suffer from depression and anxiety, but I do enjoy and appreciate little things in life a lot. Little things are actually the big things. Verb B. You have the most wonderful, tender heart. And there's something in you to discover through the little things. When I was studying with Cecil, all my drawings were little. There's a couple of them in that book that Andy has of my process with Cecil in the beginning. And eventually he came up to me and he said, Ginger, it's time for you to go big. Didn't realize it was really dreaming of doing a 30-foot sculpture. I'm still dreaming of it. But it will be through the little things, Verpy, that you will discover that limitless, wonderful, heartful joy inside you and the answers. You don't have to be big. But there's something the depression is guiding you to discover. And I believe in you, that you will do that. Becky was saying, just a quick hello and to wish you all happy holidays. Can't stay as grandkids are here. Thank you for letting us know. Merry Christmas, Becky. Thank you for coming. So, Todd's here. Hi, Todd. Glad you could make it. And Lisa. Hi, cousin. Lisa, would you text me your address, please? I would want to send you a Christmas card. I did one of my grandson, Lenny, that I'm sending to people. And I meant to ask you, but my 10 days of flu, which was probably a detox, because I've been working, meditating and things, and sometimes that's what happens, is that your body needs to clean out some of the debris that you were holding on to. It's a very good cleansing process. The only problem is the only thing I wanted to eat was carbohydrates. You know, my parents, they weren't very well off, and our big treat for the week was to go to the bakery at the back of the A&P, and they knew someone that sold us hot bread from the oven. And it was our sweets for the week. With this hot bread with the butter. Wow. So that is one habit that when I want to raise my spirits most of my life, it's cold, get some hot white bread and smear it with butter. And macaroni with butter too. If I'm ill, it's like I gotta have macaroni and butter. I don't know what you guys have to have, but I have to be careful. And I had a period in my life where I had to learn that. Gosh, my homeopath, Dr. Shama Elder, he put me on some really crazy ways of eating to help me. David and I went to Morocco with the band. They were shooting a genie commercial, and I got some sort of amoeba. And when I got back, it was like, as a vegetarian, eating all those lentils and everything, rice and grains, that amoeba thought it had come home to the Ritz. And when Dr. Sharma said, "Sorry, love, you have to stop eating carbohydrates," it was like something was screaming inside my stomach. Oh my goodness. It was the only way that he had to leave, because I tried some normal orthodox medicine and it wasn't working. So that was an experience. And Lisa, buttered noodles, yeah, totally. Mashed potatoes with butter and cream, oh my God. Oh, I've stopped having cream. The English love their cream. When I came over, it was amazing. And of course, Yorkshire pudding with gravy. You're making me hungry. I'm making myself hungry. Burpee. Thank you, Ginger, for your encouraging words. I wouldn't even want to be big. I really learned that little things are the best things and big things are in the background. Well, each of us have to follow what it is that inspires us to see our eternal aspects of who we are and love being here in a human body. It's really special and unique thing to care for it. You know, it's like, it's incredibly vulnerable. Other little children are stronger in a way because they can fight back, but our bodies, we're their caretakers. We need to love it and cherish it, and so much that we have to know, to love. And when you start to expand more, your body will need to adjust to the change of energies. As we were talking earlier, the change from the blood to the nervous system. And then, of course, one becomes more empathic, and you have to learn to observe what the collective energy is, but not to take it in order to be able to respond and serve the highest in everyone. Sounds like, Lisa says, it sounds like it's time for a big Christmas dinner. Sweet potato and cream from Todd. I know. Alice, my eldest daughter, has done the most amazing thing in her garden because of social distancing. Claire and Brianna can't do 2 weeks of isolation, and so she's created a Christmas COVID wonderland in the back of her garden. She's taken one of my trees from the attic, set it up outside with all the lights and all the string lights I normally put in my house. She's put in her garden, and collected high ivy, and oh, I can't wait to see it. Amazing. And she and I, because we both are isolating, can be in the house together and hug. So I pulled out all my winter furry fake fur coats and my warm boots and my hats. We're going to sit in the garden eating our Christmas dinner with Brianna and Claire. And Sarah and Gus and little baby Lenny are grounded in Tier 4 in London. And it's soon, soon. Apparently, Alice said, as of Boxing Day, where we are tier 3 in Sussex, we will be tier 4. But I've been living that for 9 months anyway. But I'm not sure if our bubble can still hug in tier 4. But the main thing is that there's some deep process, inner process, that we're all being asked to do. And I certainly find that the more that I can't go out and buy a new dress to make myself happy, it's hard not to see people, but the more I'm with myself, things are stripping away. I just actually don't even remember what I used to do out there. If you have a job and things outside of your house, you need to do it. Mine is creating. So I'm grateful. And it's Richard says he likes hot soup and crusty bread when I'm... You guys are making me really hungry. Kimberly says, thanks, Ginger, for encouragement to get back to creating. It's the art of living that starts first, and if your soul says, go and make something, a form, have it come from the highest through your bridge of imagination and ground it in the material universe. Because so much of the things that we watch and see, observe, think, the imagery that surrounds us is based on an economic purpose more than the value of your true imagination. Richard, apparently all of Hampshire are to go into tier 4 on Boxing Day. This new strain is certainly taking our experience into another dimension. Lori says that she's been learning German to keep her brain sharp. My healer, Lily Cornford, who I studied and worked with for a long time, said that we need to keep our brain sharp. And she would read 5 different books, alternating each day, which one am I going to read today? But the importance of keeping your brain sharp, according to what I have discovered, is that you are awakened and controller of your life. It's the mind that does that, but it's the mind that knows how important the heart is. And if that isn't directed appropriately, then the heart suffers. So people, it's nearly 8:20. It's been wonderful to be with you. It's time for me to go. I have a question for you. Would you all like me to do live next Wednesday? Give me a quick answer. Erin's saying she's in a log cabin in the woods and tend to be a bit of a hermit anyhow, but 2 of my cousins have gotten COVID-19. One up here and one in LA. Both are recovering well. Yep, well, the new strain apparently is more contagious. So, Burpee, what does that mean? She's speaking Swedish to me. Definitely. Everyone's going, yes, of course. Okay. Well, so I will be here. Okay, same time. Have a really good week have a good Christmas, and send a lot of radiant love across the ethers to everybody, and to the people 6 feet away. Smile a lot, and put a lot of glitter in your thoughts. So long. And I could go on forever, but I won't. I will see you next week. So thank you again for coming.